Okay, team, thank you all for joining on such short notice. We know the situation is overwhelming, but we need to come together and make sure we have a clear, compassionate, and comprehensive plan moving forward. Our community is in shock right now, and we need to provide the right support immediately while also laying the groundwork for long-term healing. Let's break this down. We'll first talk about the immediate steps we need to take today. Then we will move into long-term strategies for emotional support, prevention, and communication. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we'll do it together. Let's start with you, Bill. How do you think we should approach this situation?
Thanks, Dr. Soto. So we know the students will have a lot of questions, and it's essential that we don't shy away from the reality of what happened. Today, I think we need to hold some classroom discussions and small group sessions. We can start by explaining what happened in simple, factual terms without getting too much into detail. There's no need to speculate or sensationalize. We should also frame the conversation around substance abuse, and the risks involved, and how we can support each other through these tough times. I'd also recommend that we have some educational resources available for students who want more information on substance abuse and mental health. I know this is a sensitive topic, but we can't ignore it. The sooner we address these issues directly, the better. Our goal is to make sure our students are aware of how addiction works, the risks of substance abuse, and how to seek help. And we can also provide resources for the parents to kind of help guide conversations at home and encourage them to talk openly with their children about drug use, any mental health struggles that they're dealing with at the moment, and then seeking support if they need it. Additionally, as part of our ongoing response, I think we should schedule some follow-up workshops, continue educating the students, and connect them to some local prevention programs in the community. And of course, we need to remind students that our counselors and mental health team are available today and any other day that somebody needs to talk.
I completely agree with you, Bill. We need to create a safe environment where students can process what's happened without fear of judgment or stigma. This loss is not just a tragic event for the family, but it impacts the emotional and psychological well-being of the entire school community. I think we should start by identifying the students who were most directly affected by the incident, those who witnessed it or were close to the student who passed. They're going to need extra support today. I'll meet with the teachers first thing to get a sense of which students are struggling the most. We can also make sure that those who need more intensive support are pulled aside and offered one-on-one sessions. I think it would be useful to have a quiet space for students to go if they need a break or a safe place to process things. For teachers and staff, we'll also hold a session where we can check in on them, listen to any concerns they have, and provide support for those who are struggling emotionally, as many of them may be close to the situation as well. We should also offer group therapy sessions for the students' close friends, or any group of students who may feel isolated or especially shaken by this. Group therapy could provide them with a sense of community and healing. I'll make sure to organize these sessions and start reaching out to students today.
Yeah, that makes sense. Something I would want to piggyback off of is that group therapy sessions, because I think it's also important that we focus on peer support, like you said. So while we'll obviously have professional counseling available, we should create spaces for students to talk to one another. Sometimes talking to someone who's in the same boat can feel incredibly helpful and like they can relate to you. So I'm thinking about organizing peer-led support groups for students who want to share their feelings and process together. It could really help normalize the whole grieving process, because as we know, grief is not linear and we never know when the waves are going to hit, and it's an ongoing process. So we can ensure that the students have an opportunity to access support through the coming months. And then something else I was thinking about is I think we should have an open door policy today and for the next few months for students who want to talk, whether it's about the situation or anything else that's on their mind. We want to ensure that students feel like they're not alone and they have a space to also be with someone who can guide them through the grief.
That's a really good point. Peer-led groups could be powerful in giving students a sense of control in their healing. We need to make sure we have the right students trained or guided through the process so that the group isn't overwhelming for anyone. How soon do you think we can get these peer groups started? And do we need any additional training or support for the students leading them?
Well, I mean, I think we could start small with maybe some of the more mature students. You know, maybe those have already gone through peer leadership programs, are in positions of leadership within the school. I can talk to the teachers and students and leaders today to find and identify the best candidates, and we can get the ball rolling by tomorrow. I don't think we'll need formal training right now, but I'll make sure they understand the guidelines and the goals of the group. And the focus should be on emotional support, not therapy. So we keep it simple, and we'll have adult supervision available if it's, you know.
I also think we need to remember that not everyone is going to be comfortable in a group setting, and some students might need individual counseling to work through their grief more privately. We can't assume that everyone will process this in the same way. We need to check in regularly with those who are more withdrawn or not actively seeking specific help. They might not come forward right away, but we don't want them to slip through the cracks.
Absolutely, individual support is just as crucial. Okay, so we have the group and individual support plans in place. Let's talk about how we're going to keep the communication going with the parents. I know we need to send something out today. What do you all think the key message should be?
Yeah, I think that honestly the most important message is that we as a school and a community are here for both students and parents. Parents need to know that we're offering counseling services to the students and what's available to them, and they want to know that we'll be continuing support through the weeks. It's not just an immediate reaction. We want to continue the support for them, and we also need to offer guidance on how they can talk to their kids about this tragedy and how they can spot the signs of distress, because this may not be something they're aware of. I also think that we should also provide information on grief resources, both local and online, and make it clear that we'll be in touch regularly to update them on how we are supporting their students and if they want to be involved in that process.
Yeah, absolutely, and total agreement with that. You know, we also need to remind the parents that they can reach out to us anytime as well. You know, I'm sure some of them may be unsure how to approach this situation with their kids, and it could be pretty important for us to offer them some concrete suggestions. I'd also recommend that maybe a virtual meeting for parents later this week, you know, just they have a form in which we can maybe answer some of their questions and, you know, talk them through some of their ongoing responses.
This sounds great, guys. I'll draft a letter for parents and send it out this afternoon, and we'll start organizing the virtual meeting for later this week. We'll need to include resources for them and to help their children through the grieving process and make sure they know where they can go for support. We want the parents to feel that they are part of the process and that we are working together to support the emotional well-being of every student. Additionally, we will keep the lines of communication open throughout this recovery process and ensure that all parents have access to the support they need. All right. So we have a plan for the immediate support, communication with parents, and a clear strategy for continuing care. Moving forward, we'll need to check in regularly with each other and reassess as needed. I think it's important that we continue to meet weekly to see how things are progressing and adjust as we go along.
Yes, definitely. As we all know, grief is complex, and each student is going to process it in their own way. We need to stay flexible and be ready to adapt our approach as needed.
I also think we should prepare for a follow-up after a couple of weeks to see how students are coping in the long term. We may offer additional group sessions if we see signs that students are struggling more than expected, because we can't predict how they're going to react to this and how long the grief process will take.
Yeah, and you know, we can use this opportunity to continue educating students about substance abuse and the risks. I mean, how can they help before something like this happens again?
Yeah.
This is going to be tough, but I'm confident that together we can help our school community heal. Let's check in tomorrow and keep each other updated. Thanks for being so committed to doing this.
Thanks, Dr.
I
Soto.
really appreciate you guys.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Wow.
Thank you for your leadership on this.